actually talk. Ugh. Hi guys. So, not gonna lie, I have tried to film this video twice. I did film it twice and I deleted it both times because A, I wasn't really ready to actually put that out there, and B, I didn't think I said it in a good enough way. Not that there is a good enough way to say it, but so as fun as the last couple of weeks have been of me vlogging my life, and you know, it's all fun and games and la-di-da-di-da, vlogging the chaos, there is, you know, a bigger reason why I feel called to this and why I want to do this for this particular charity. And I feel like it's my duty to share my story, to help raise money, but also so that other people feel like they can talk about it. And I really don't want to, but I feel like it's necessary, and I want people to know that I'm not just climbing it for funsies, and there's a real reason and there's a real problem that we need to fix together. So let's start at the beginning. Hi guys, my name's Lucy London and I'll be climbing Kilimanjaro in March for Women's Aid. So when I was 17, I read this book, and my friend actually gave it to me at the time, and we were both fascinated by it. I forgot about the mic. So when I was 17, I read this book and was fascinated by it, to be honest, and couldn't believe that things like that actually happened outside of the movies, and was just so angered by it. And essentially it's a true story of Mandy Thomas, who is a lady who was in a violent relationship for a really, really long time, and it's probably one of the worst in UK history, and she managed to get out, thankfully, but a lot of the problems were through like the law. The police like couldn't help her. They were like, sorry, we can't help you. And this is in England, so like, you know, Western country, quite developed. The police just like wouldn't help her for the majority of her time. I think you should read it, because I don't really want to talk too much about it, but you should definitely read it. You Can't Run by Mandy Thomas. It will change your life, and it's essential, I think, for all women to read. So then, that was when I was in sixth form. So then fast forward a few years, I actually had someone in my life who was in not as extreme of a situation, but was in a situation of this. And I remember I used to like scream at her, like, you need to get out because like of this book and da da da, like this is now, but you don't know what's going to happen, and la la la, like one thing leads to another. And I really, really understood that it starts as something small, and then it develops. And it's just funny that I was so passionately to my friend, like, you've got to leave. Fast forward, I found myself in a situation, and I don't want to say too much about it, to be honest, because I'm not going to lie, there's still a part of me that's like, did that happen? Like, there's a funny thing for women, and you know, people in general, survivors, where you think, you know, this doesn't happen here. And a lot of what I did tell the people around me, a lot of things that came my way were, no, you know, they wouldn't do that, this doesn't happen here, you know, like that's something that happens in different walks of life, like not our, you know, class, or, you know, whatever. People would say that, are you sure that happened? Because Lucy, when you get drunk, you can be quite dramatic. That was a fan favourite. And yeah, I don't drink anymore, but I used to get drunk and get upset about things. But the majority of the time, the things I was upset about was what I was upset about sober, but I couldn't voice, and then I'd get drunk and cry about it. But anyway, that's besides the point. In this particular situation, I feel like these days it is thrown around a lot, like narcissist abuse, blah, blah, blah. It is thrown around on the internet a lot. Emotional abuse, all kind of trigger points like that. It's definitely talked about a lot, which is good because it spreads awareness, but it's also like it's got an attachment to that word now that is not how can I say that, it's not positive. It's getting dark, so I need to hurry up. So it does bother me to throw those words around, but I would say, from my perspective, I was in a situation where I was involved with a narcissist, and there was some emotional abuse, and there was a lot of emotional abuse, and you know, things happened, and it's so hard to talk about, guys. Like, I do not want to talk about this. Why do I have this in my ear? I don't think I need that in my ear. I do not want to talk about this at all, like at all, but here we are. Anyway, the climax of the situation, and which is why I talk about that book, is because nothing was ever, I don't want to say, like, I wish you guys knew the actual pain that this is causing me to talk about. Ugh. I hate it, but anyway, I don't even want to say that, but essentially there was a night when things came to a head, and things happened, and I couldn't leave the situation. And whether I remembered that book or not at the time, there was something in my brain about that book that was like screaming, and the alarm bells, like when I put myself back in that moment, I just remember thinking, like, you need to get out of here right now. Like, and say what you want, and you know, nobody knows what would have happened if I didn't get out of there, but my body was screaming, and my soul was screaming, and my intuition was screaming to get out of there. And I don't, you know, regardless of what you think might have happened, my body had that reaction that night with that person in that place. And then I did get out, thankfully. I have very, 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 very good friends that helped me get out of that situation, which I'm very, very lucky for. And since then, it's been going through a process of like, did that happen? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that happened. Okay, how do we deal with this? And as someone who this happened for one night, the worst events were one night, and the total events in minutes, maybe not in minutes, it was maybe an hour tops. Okay, and that was a time ago, and I still to this day have the effects of that one day, and I have notes. Like, I just made some notes of like the effects that I had from one night, just so that people like might understand. I hate it. Panic attacks, nightmares are something I've struggled with ever since that night. And they come and they go, but there was a period of a really long time where I would wake up every single night drenched in sweat, thinking that this person was outside my room coming to kill me. Say what you want, like, but when something's in your nervous system, like, it's in your nervous system, and my body was stuck in that fight or flight mode, and it would always come out at night. And sometimes, even to this day, it does happen. Like, if I hear a noise at night and I'm woken up by a noise at night, I think it's this person trying to kill me. Not nice. Panic attacks would happen a lot. It sort of ruined a lot for me. It ruined a lot of my life. Friends, just day to day, I struggled a lot. And I stopped stunt training. I wanted to be a stunt performer back then. Stopped training for the BSR. No confidence. Well, it's funny. I'd like teeter-totter between zero confidence and like the biggest confidence, like I think the term is like hypersexuality. It's basically when like something bad happens and you go, it's like a ghost story. Something bad happens and you go like into hypersexual mode. So, you know, sleeping with people and going out drinking and drugs and everything that was, oh my god, how are we going to do this? Everything that was remotely harmful, I was like purposely doing that to myself just to numb the feelings, I guess, and not deal with anything. People knowing where I am, I'm still weird about that to this day. I hate people knowing where I am, where I live. I had quite a TikTok that was going really well, and then I went traveling and I was getting messages like, I know where you live. Ooh, so that stopped my TikTok. So like there's a career success part of this that people don't talk about. Like Mandy in the book like has had no career because of it. Obviously it's much more of a worse situation. And also relationships, like I've had one relationship since then, and it was 5 weeks long, because you just don't want to get into it. And I was spending time with someone recently, and the first time in however many years it's been, where in my last relationship we were together all the time, so there was no test of, you know, how would I be when this person isn't here, like trust issues and a whole host of things that emotionally you go through. So recently I was spending time with someone, and the only reason why I was spending time with them was because I knew I was coming back here to Australia. So that's the only reason why I let them get close. And I only downloaded Hinge when I had about 3 months left, so I knew that I couldn't get attached to anyone. Like, this is what it does to your brain. It turns you into sort of like more of a anxious avoidant attachment, if you know anything about that. You should read Attached by, forget the name, but it's called Attached. You should read that. There's another book, Coercive Control. You should also read that. I'll put them all in the link. Very, very important books for women. So in this person that I was hanging out with recently was the first time I had to actually work through some things. What is going on? Work through some things. And it was torture, guys. It was literal torture. Every day, if I had a message from them in my phone that I hadn't replied to yet, it was fine. I could go about my day and do anything. The second that I'd sent them a message, oh my god, trauma. And like, even like in bed, I would be like, at like sleeping, I would never sleep next to this person because I was scared, you know, whatever it was. Maybe, you know, my nervous system didn't like sleeping next to a man. There was even a point where I was like, I think I'm a lesbian, I am bi, but I don't think I'm full. I thought it was a snake. Quite like snakes though, but I wouldn't want it on me. Anyway, there was a time I thought it was a lesbian, so I was like, I just literally have this repulsion to men. And then this most recent situation was just traumatic, and it was terrible, guys. But it really shows you the damage. Like, this person is quite secure in their attachment style and in who they are, and they would say things and do and like talk about things and have like an actual adult conversation, like communication, like as you do in relationships. And my brain is like, no, liar, 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 liar. Crazy, because your defenses get so high, right? It's so hard, and you have to work through so much. So whoever my next, you know, actual relationship is that I'm with, when I'm not leaving somewhere, which won't happen, but when it does, it's going to be so hard to work through all that stuff. But yeah, I say all that. Obviously, like anxiety, depression, bad mental health also goes heart and heart with that. Not wanting to have sex. If you're my family, don't listen to this. But like, I went a really long time without doing that because I didn't want to be touched. It took me a really long time to like reclaim that. A really long time. Okay? It's getting really dark now, guys. But yeah, I say that because that's one night. Yeah, women are, and people, women and men, and all the genders are stuck in situations for years and years and years. Like, I'm lucky enough that someone came and got me, took me home, I blocked them and everything, never saw them. Oh, actually, no, I saw them again. That's the other thing. That's the other thing that's like, the people around me were like, well, why did that happen? And then you're drunk and then at his house again. And I'm like, well, because you obviously still love them. You obviously still want it to, that not to have happened, and you want to just move on. Like, of course there's a part of you that doesn't want to leave them still, even if they do horrible things to you. Like, I don't think people actually understand this, and that's like the minimum level. Like, if you've been with someone for years and years and years, your body still loves them even if they're awful. Imagine if you're married, so that's a whole financial situation. A lot of women in these situations don't have their own money, and these people could do this on purpose. They don't have their own money, they don't have a job. Where are they going? Where are they going? Like, how are they going to leave this situation? They physically can't. And I think people don't actually understand this. Like, when I have conversations with people, they're like, well, just leave and don't go back. And it's like, well, if you have 3 kids, how are you going to go? And if you're in a situation like Mandy, where this person was so relentless in finding them, and the authorities aren't helping you, and you don't have any family or friends, right? Because that's another characteristic, is they isolate you from your family and friends. When you're in these, longer term things, where are you going? You have nowhere to go, and that is why it's so important that these charities exist. Like, Women's Aid are really helping women with shelters and getting out of these situations and staying out. And I think it's even harder these days with social media, and everything's trackable. I actually learnt this last week. You can hack anyone's phone for £500. What? So anyone that is, in a relationship and wants to get out, and somebody doesn't want them to get out, they can easily hack their phone, find out where they are. iCloud, everything is so online now. Everybody is traceable. So it's even harder for people to get out of domestic violent relationships. And also, this doesn't just extend to romantic relationships. This is also home relationships. Do you know what I mean? Like, family. There's children stuck in, abusive households. The key thing that I didn't say in this video that I wanted to say, and I don't want to put this out there without saying it, is that you have to know that one thing leads to another. And have you seen the poem about He Bought Me Flowers? I'll put it in. Pause this video now. Okay. That's what I want to spread awareness about. As much as we are raising money for this charity, and it's so important that people know, women also need to read these books, and men. Everybody needs to read these books and learn the first warning signs, so that if you ever do find yourself in this situation, you can leave and get really good friends that will help you, like me. Like, I'm really, 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 really lucky that, I don't know what's in my ear again, that I have really amazing friends around me that helped me leave at the first sign of trouble. Okay, that's the key bit that I want to talk about. The first sign of trouble, I was able to leave because I had read Mandy's book, and I knew, and my friends knew. Okay? Please, please, please just educate yourself on these books, so that if one thing happens, that's it. That's gone. Also, I feel like there is a lot of chit chat about this these days because of It Ends With Us. I haven't seen it. I don't have any urge to see it because I've seen all the bad PR that it's got, and it's probably not been handled very well. But yeah, read that book. So I have read the book, and I think the book is really good. Read that book. It Ends With Us. No, It Starts With Us. It Ends With Us. Read. That's a fictional story, but it's really important. Read You Can't Run. Read Coercive Control, and educate yourself so that you can get out of a situation the first time you see something is off. And trust your intuition, please. Oh my gosh, trust your intuition. Like, if I hadn't trusted my intuition that day, who knows where I might be, or what would have happened. So thank goodness I trust my intuition. Trust your intuition, and nobody is worth putting yourself in danger for. Okay? And if you think someone's putting you in danger, you need to leave and get as far away as possible and block. Like, even if it's a tiny thing, it's not worth it. Trust me, it's not worth it. The sooner you leave as well, the easier it will be to leave as well. Okay, back to the main vlog. The reason why I put the stats at the front is because people think this doesn't happen here, not me. That's what I was like when I was in that situation in the moment. I remember thinking, like, I do not believe this. I do not believe that Lucy London, the girl who's like yapping away to her friend 2 years ago about you've got to leave and is in this situation. Like, I could not believe it. And I could not believe that I still yearned for this person. And I still cannot believe that I was doing all weird stuff, stalking their social media, even after that happened. I just could not believe it. That's like, oh my God, this actually is happening to me now in my life. And because you don't think it, you think that will happen to everyone else but me, but the stats are so common that it could be your friend, your family, your neighbour, like people that you know. This is happening now. Like, whether people want to believe it or not, it is happening. And it's so important that we help people that are stuck in the situation, because they've got no one. If you've been in a situation for years, slowly these people will chip away at your life and will make you more and more isolated. Friends, family, finances, everything's gone. Keep getting you pregnant so that you can't, you physically can't run, can you, because you're pregnant, or you're, giving birth. And so they really have no one. And someone that's taken the steps to leave a situation really, really needs the support of charities like Women's Aid to get them out and try and keep them out. Otherwise, they really have no option, and they are stuck in these awful situations every day, being abused every day, and then they're stuck with it for the rest of their life. Like, trauma is, again, talked about a lot these days, and it is important that it is, but that severe whoa, that scared there's people over there. That actually scared the shit out of me. Sorry. It stays with you for life, and these people that are in actual violent relationship for years are scarred for life. They really are. And me being in my situation for a matter of months, and that situation being one night, and I'm here, years later, still feeling the effects. Imagine if you're stuck there for 5 years, 10 years, even 1 year. Like, it's crazy what people are living with, and they need our help. Like, so I don't think I've got anything else to say. I just think, I hope it comes across how important this is. My story is just a blip, and I want you to know that if this has happened to you, there's resources. I'll put them in the comments that you can call, speak to someone. Yes, it did happen, and yes, it's terrible, and no, it's not your fault. And please, if you're watching this, like, subscribe, and spread the word, and donate. I will set up the GoFundMe now. That is all up and running, so you can donate anything. Like, skip your morning coffee and give me £3 or more, please, because we really need to help these people, guys. Like, it's so important. I really hope I'm coming across well, and that I haven't just rambled too much for 20 minutes, and we're sitting in the dark. Pretty weird. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope it's given other people the confidence to talk about what's happened to them, and spread the word so that we can donate loads of money for this charity. And when I'm at the top of that mountain, hating my life, I'll be thinking about all the women, that past, present, future, that need my help and need your help. And yeah, love you guys. That was so horrible to talk about. Love you. Bye.